Good morning everyone. This is Group 3 and for today's topic, we will discuss about the financial market and institutions.
For our agenda for today, first we will have an icebreaker activity called crossword puzzle. And next to that, we will be having an introduction to financial market and financial institution to be followed by the presentation of the topic overview of capital allocation process, financial market, financial institutions, the stock market, the market for common stocks, stock market and returns, and the last is the stock market efficiency. And for our last agenda, we will have a quiz and that will be conducted through the G forms. As we start with our presentation, let us first identify the difference between the financial market and the financial institution. Both of them are critical components of financial system and they both have and serve different functions. Let us first identify the financial market. Financial market derives from the word market. Ito yung lugar kung saan binibili yung mga stocks, bonds, forex, and derivatives. And ito rin yung way para mag-trade yung mga buyers and investors. So, itong market na to is nag-create ng various securities products na nag-offer sa mga investors or sa lender ng mga excess funds and nagpo-provide ng mga funds sa mga borrower na kailangan ng additional na pera. So, this market can include assets or securities traded on regulated exchange or yung mga over-the-counter platforms. So, in matters na nag-failure yung financial market, it can lead to economic disruption like recession and increased unemployment. So, yung financial market, nag-i-exist siya for multiple purposes, but their primary function is to efficient allocate capital and asset in financial economy. By enabling the free flow of capital, financial obligation, and money, this market contributes to the smoother operation of the global economy and allowing investors to participate in capital gain over time. On the other hand, financial institution, ito naman yung mga entities na nagpo-provide ng financial service and products and they are acting as financial intermediaries between savers and borrowers. Yung mga financial institution naman is nag-offer sila ng range of deposit, lending, and investment products to individual, businesses, or both. While some financial institutions cater to general public, providing service and accounts, other target specific consumers with more specialized offerings. Yung mga example ng mga financial institution includes banks, insurance companies, investment firms, stock exchange, and etc.
So the next topic is an overview of the capital allocation process. Basically, capital allocation is the process of allocating financial resources to different areas of a business to increase efficiency and maximize profits. So dito sa capital allocation process, may dalawang parties na involved, which is the business and the savers. Yung business, sila yung mga naghanap ng funds or source of capital. And then yung savers naman, sila naman yung may mga excess funds or surplus funds. And naghanap din sila kung saan pwedeng mag-invest. So, in capital allocation process, we have three different ways to transfer capital. First, we have the direct transfer. So, dito sa direct transfer, si business is mag-i-issue ng securities to savers. It can be in the form of bonds or stocks. And then, in exchange naman, si savers ang magbibigay ng funds or magfa-finance. So, mostly, direct transfer is applicable to small entities or small business. Direct transfer siya because the transaction is directly from business to the savers. So, walang naging middleman and direct yung transaction nilang dalawa. And the next one, we have the indirect transfer through investment bankers. So, dito naman si business ay magsisell or mag-i-issue ng securities niya, hindi na kay savers. Dito papasok yung middleman. So, dito yung middleman is si investment bank. So, si investment bank ang temporarily na magpa-purchase ng securities ni business in exchange for funds. So, si investment bank naman yung magbibigay ng funds. And then after nun, si investment bank, using the same securities na binenta ni business, yun din yung same securities na ibebenta niya sa savers. So, yung process na yon is tinatawag na underwriting kasi pinurchase muna ni investment bank yung securities from the business and then ni-resell niya ulit kay savers. For the third one, we have the indirect transfer through financial intermediaries. So, yung middleman naman dito is the financial intermediaries. It can be a bank or a mutual fund. So, dito naman, business will issue its securities kay financial intermediaries or a bank. And exchange is the funds. And then, these banks will issue again securities to savers. Ang pinagkaiba lang is, yung ini-issue ng bank na securities is sariling securities nila. Hindi siya yung binenta ng business, iba yung ini-issue nila sa savers. So, for example, bank issue certificate of deposit to savers and then yung business is nag-sell sila ng stocks sa bank. So, magkaiba yun ng securities. Like for example, si PLDT need mag-acquire ng additional financing or si Jollibee need ng another capital. So, nagbenta sila ng stocks to the bank and then bibilhin yun ng bank. And then, if need ng savers na mag-acquire ng securities, si bank ay mag-i-issue ng sarili niyang securities to the savers. And perfect example nun is yung certificate of deposit in exchange of funds galing kay savers. Okay, to visualize the three different ways to transfer capital, ito yung diagram para di kayo malito sa differences nila. So as we can see, from direct transfer, indirect transfer through investment bankers, and indirect transfer through a financial intermediary. So, may kita natin yung pinagkaiba nung indirect transfer through investment bankers and then yung indirect transfer through a financial intermediary. Si investment bank is binebenta niya lang din yung securities na in-issue ng business. Unlike kay financial intermediary, sariling securities nila yung binibenta nila sa savers or ini-exchange and ini-issue nila sa savers.
Financial market, people and organization wanting to borrow money are bought together with those having surplus funds in the financial market. Sa financial market, ito yung tumutukoy sa mga institution tulad ng mga stock exchange at bonds market kung saan nagaganap ang pagbili at pagbebenta ng mga financial instrument tulad ng mga stock, bonds at iba pang mga securities. Ito ay isang lugar kung saan nagkakaroon ng pagtugma sa pagitan ng mga nag-aalok ng pondo tulad ng mga investor at ng mga naghahanap ng pondo tulad ng mga company at government. Types of markets. Different financial markets serve different types of customer or different parts of the country. Financial market also vary depending on the maturity of the securities being traded and the types of asset used to back the securities. Physical asset market versus financial asset market. Sa physical asset market, ito ay tumutukoy sa mga pamilyan kung saan ang transaction ay nagaganap para sa mga physical na ari-arian o tangible asset. Ang tangible asset ay maaari makita, hawakan, at physical na kagamitan. Tulad ng mga real estate, kagamitan, lupa, bahay, gusali, kotse, gold o kagamitan pang office at iba pang material na pag-aari ng isang individual or company. Ang presyo ng mga ari-arian ay depende kung saan ito naka-location, condition at iba pang mga katangian. Pagdating naman sa financial asset market, Ito ay tumutukoy sa mga pamilihan at bentahan kung saan naman ang transaksyon ay nagaganap para sa mga financial asset o intangible asset, yung hindi nahahawakan tulad ng mga stock, bonds, mutual funds, at iba pang mga securities. Ang kita naman sa financial asset market ay batay sa kanilang kita at interest. Spot market versus future market. Sa spot market ay isang uri kung saan maaari kang bumili o magbenta ng mga produkto ng direktahan at agad na kapag katapos ng transaksyon. Halimbawa, kung gusto mong bumili ng bigas ngayon, maaari ka nang pumunta sa spot market at bumili ng mga bigas mula sa nagtitinda doon ng rektahan. Sa halip na mag-order at maghintay ka ng ilang araw para sa pagdating ng bigas. Sa pamamagitan ng spot market, maaari mong agad na makuha o makapagbenta ng mga produkto nang walang hinihintay. Walang mahabang hinihintay. Tapos, sa future market naman, sa future market, isang uri ito ng pamilihan kung saan ang mga kontrata para sa pagbili o pagbebenta ng isang siguradong produkto sa hinaharap ay nagaganap. Halimbawa, sa future market, maaari ka magtakda ng kontrata para sa pagbili ng isang tonadang bigas. Sa isang siguradong presyo at petsa sa hinaharap, kahit na ang aktwal na transaksyon ay mangyayari pa sa mga susunod na buwan, sa pamamagitan ng future market, maaari mong protektahan ang iyong sarili mula sa pagtaas o pagbaba ng presyo ng kalakal sa hinaharap at magkakaroon ka ng sigurado na presyo para sa iyong mga produkto at serbisyo. Money market versus capital market. Sa money market, pamilihan kung saan nagaganap yung transaction para sa short-term na financial instrument tulad ng treasury bills, certificate of deposit. Halimbawa, yung isang bangko magbibenta ng treasury bills, meron itong 6 months na termino sa isang investor. Sa pamamagitan ng money market, maaari ang institution o pagpapahiram ng pera ng maiksi at may mataas na liquidity na nagbibigay daan sa kanila para kumita ng interest habang nagme-maintain ng kanilang mga kakayahan maka-access sa kanilang pondo. Tapos sa capital market, ang capital market ay pamilihan ay isang bahagi ng pamilihan kung saan nagaganap ang pagbili at pagbenta ng mga pangmatagalan mga puhunan tulad ng mga stock, bonds at iba pang mga instrumento ng puhunan. Halimbawa, maaaring magbenta ang isang company ng mga bagong share ng stock sa capital ng pamilihan upang lumaganap ang pondo para sa kanilang mga produkto sa hinaharap. Primary market versus secondary market. Sa primary market, tumutukoy sa unang paglabas ng mga bagong security tulad ng mga stock, bonds at iba pang uri ng mga pamumuhunan. Ito ay ang sandigan kung saan ang mga company ay naglalabas ng kanilang mga bagong inventaryo ng mga stock sa publiko upang kumolekta ng mga pondo para sa mga project at pangangailangan ng negosyo. Sa secondary naman, kilala rin ito sa pangalawang pamilihan. Lugar kung saan maaaring ipagbili at bilhin ang mga secondary na unang nilalabas sa primary market. Ito ay ang proseso ng pagbili at pagbebenta ng mga security na nagaganap pagkatapos ng unang transaksyon sa primary market. Private market versus public market. Sa private market, kilala rin bilang pribadong merkado, ay ang lugar kung saan nagaganap ang transaksyon sa pagitan ng mga individual o institution, ngunit hindi sa publiko. Ito ay isang uri ng pamilihan kung saan ang mga security tulad ng mga stock or bond ay hindi nakalista sa isang pampublikong palitan tulad ng stock exchange. Sa public market naman, ito ay tumutukoy sa transaksyon sa pamilihan at pagbebenta ng mga seguridad na nagaganap sa pampublikong palitan tulad ng stock exchange. Ito ay kung saan ang mga security ay nakalista at maaaring mabili at maibenta ng mga individual or institution sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng mga broker or online trading platforms. Recent trends. Ang mga financial market ay nakakaranas ng maraming pagbabago sa nakalipas na 2 dekada. Ang teknolohikal na pag-usbong ng mga computer at telekomunikasyon kasama na ang globalisasyon ng pagbabago at komisyon ay humahantong sa deregulation at ito ay tumataas na kompetensyon sa buong mundo. Ang resulta ng isang mas mahusay na international linked market, ngunit isa sa mga komplikado kaysa sa umiiral na ilang taon na ang nakalipas. Bagamat ang mga pag-unlad na ito ay higit na positibo, lumikha din sila ng mga problema pero sa mga gumagawa ng patakaran.
Let us now discuss the financial institution. As I said earlier, financial institutions are the entities that acting as financial intermediaries between savers and borrowers. So meaning, ito yung nagko-connect sa savers or investors doon sa mga kailangan ng funds like yung borrowers or businesses. And with that, nagre-result siya ng future payment from borrowers or businesses to savers or investors. And this institution also provides services like storing money, providing loans, facilitating investments, and offering insurances. They play a crucial role in our economy by transferring funds from savers to borrowers and enabling economic growth and managing risk through insurance and other products. For us to better understand the financial institution, we have 10 types of financial institution in our discussion for today. First will be the investment banking houses. Ito yung mga investment banks na nagsiserve as financial brokers or financial advisors sa mga big clients like sa mga pension funds. Ina-assist nila yung mga individuals, businesses, and yung government sa pag-raise ng money by issuing securities. In primarily market, investment bankers help companies create securities that appeals to investors and buy them. Pag nabili na nila yun, ibibenta ulit nila yun sa mga investors. So, as we can see, 2 beses na binebenta yung mga securities. And this process is seen as single primarily market transaction managed by the investment bankers. And effective to sa pag-move ng pera from businesses to savers or savers to businesses. Some of the example of this are the Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse Group, and in the Philippines we have BDO Capital and Investment Corporation, First Metro Investment Corporation, and SB Capital Investment Corporation. Second financial institution that we have is the commercial bank. A commercial bank is a financial institution that takes deposits and provides various banking services to individuals and businesses. They earn money by charging interest on loans such as mortgages, auto loans, business loans, and personal loans which are funded by customers' deposit. Yung commercial banks naman is nag-expand siya ng service to include their wider range of financial offerings such as yung mga stockbrokers and insurance services. Internationally, commercial banks has Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Wachovia, and JP Morgan Chase. And these are the traditional department stores of finance because they serve a variety of savers and borrowers. In the Philippines, we have BDO Unibank Incorporated or the BDO. Next is the Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company or the Metrobank. And lastly is the Bank of the Philippine Islands or BPI. Third on the list is the Financial Service Corporation. Ito naman yung large entities na nag-combine ng mga various financial institution under one corporate umbrella. Included dito yung mga commercial bank, investment bank, insurance companies, and others. By integrating these services, they offer a comprehensive range of financial products, and this allowed them to provide customers with one-stop shop solution for their financial needs while benefiting from the economy's scales. Some of the example of this are the Citigroup, American Express, Fidelity, and Prudential. Fourth on the list is the Savings and Loans Association or SNLs. They offer services like checking accounts, personal loans, and home mortgages to individual consumers. They focus on collecting savings from many small savers and then lending this money to home buyers and other borrowers with priority to residential mortgages. Sa Pilipinas, tinatawag natin tong thrift bank, kung saan ang specialized nito is yung pagkolekta ng savings deposits and providing loans particularly para sa housing and personal needs. They are regulated by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and they serve both individual savers and borrowers. Some of the example of this in the Philippines are the BPI Family Savings Bank, PS Bank, and Robinson Bank. Next is the Mutual Savings Bank. Ito naman yung bank na ginawa para makatulong sa mga low-income individuals and traditionally, yung bank na to is nagpo-focus sa long-term fixed rate investment like mortgages. And nag-offer din sila ng mga accounts na may mababang balance pero nag-earn ka pa rin ng interest. And kapag nag-open ka ng account sa isang mutual savings bank, considered ka agad as owner sa bangko na to. Kasi yung mutual savings bank is wala silang outside shareholders like mga traditional banks. And as we can see na yung Savings and Loan Association and mutual banks are actually serving the same. But the difference is that SNLs are typically owned by shareholders and governed by a board of directors, while mutual savings banks are owned by the depositors and governed by the board of trustees. Some of the examples of mutual savings banks are the China Bank Savings Incorporation, Phil Savings Bank, and All Banks Incorporated. Next is the credit union. Ito is yung non-profit financial institution na pinapatakbo at pagmamay-ari ng mga taong mismo gumagamit nito. Nag-offer sila ng same service as regular bank like savings account and loans. Pero dito naman is mas mababang fees yung binibigay sa members and mas better na interest rate. Para maka-join ka sa credit union, kailangan meron kayong pagkakapareho ng mga tao or mga members ng credit union like pagtatrabaho sa iisang company. Yung mga pera na dinedeposit sa credit union is ginagamit para makapag-loan yung ibang members na ginagamit naman nila para sa pagbili ng kotse or pag-improve ng mga bahay nila. So, overall, yung credit unions is a good option for borrowing money because they tend to be cheaper other than the other source. So, some of the example of this are the Cooperative Bank of Benguet, Bankers Association of the Philippines, and the Metro South Cooperative Banks. Pension fund, ito naman yung retirement plans na sineset up ng mga employer at government entities para makapag-provide ng retirement benefit para sa mga employees. Yung funds na to is minamanage ng financial institution katulad na lamang ng mga commercial banks at life insurance companies. Yung pension fund, ini-invest siya mula sa contributions ng mga employees at employers para maging asset, including yung mga bonds, stocks, mortgages, and real estates. The return from these investments help fund the retirement benefit paid out to employees when they retire. Some of the example of this are the Government Service Insurance System or GSIS and the Social Security System or SSS. Next is the life insurance companies. Ito yung mga financial institution na tumutulong sa mga tao or sa businesses para ma-manage yung risk of financial loss. They provide protections against losses from events like deaths, disabilities, accidents, and property damage. Yung mga insurance companies is nagkokolekta sila ng mga premium sa mga tao and ini-invest nila yon sa mga assets like stocks and bonds. When a cover event occurs, they pay out sum of money to the policyholders or sa beneficiaries. Some insurance companies also offer savings plans that provide benefits upon retirement. Some of the example of life insurance companies in the Philippines are the Philam Life, Sun Life, Insular Life, and Manulife Philippines. Next is the mutual funds. It is like a big investment club where many people put their money together to buy stocks, bonds, and other investment. This pooling helps reduce risk because the money is spread out over many different investment. Meron tayong iba't ibang types ng mutual funds na makakapag-fit sa investment goals ng isang tao. So, example nito is yung bond fund. Ito naman is yung mutual fund na para sa mga taong naghahanap ng mas safe na investment, while yung stock funds naman is yung para sa mga tao na willing mag-take ng risk para sa mas mataas na returns. And yung money market naman is yung para sa mga interest-bearing and checking accounts. Many people use mutual funds for retirements because they offer professional management and a variety of investment options. Yung ibang informations about mutual funds is readily available siya, and some publications like Value Line Investment Survey and Morningstar Mutual Funds. And some of the example of mutual funds in the Philippines are the Atram Philippines Balance Fund Incorporated, First Metro Save and Learn Balance Fund, and Sun Life Prosperity Philippines Equity Fund. The last financial institution is the hedge fund. A hedge fund is a pool of money that is invested in stock and other assets. Hedge funds are generally more aggressive, riskier, and more exclusive than mutual funds. Their managers have freer rein to invest in a wide variety of assets and to use a bolder strategies in pursuit to high profits and rewarded with much higher fees than mutual fund charges. Mutual fund and hedge fund are both pooled money from investors, but they have key difference. Mutual funds are for regular investors na sinusunod yung mga traditional strategy at yung strict rules. And yung hedge fund naman is, yung target nila is yung mga mas mayaman na investors, and minsan gumagamit sila ng mas complex na strategy katulad na lang ng pag-utang para mag-invest. And hedge fund charges performance fees and can use leverage, while mutual funds usually don't. Hedge fund can offer more flexibility and potentially higher return, but they also come with higher risk and might restrict you when you try to take your money out. Some of the example of this are the Bridgewater Associates, AQR Capital Management, Citadel, Renaissance Technology, and DE Show.
Next topic, which is the stock market. So, stock market is by far the most active secondary market where the prices of firm stocks are established. It is also a set of exchange and other revenues where shares of publicly held companies are bought and sold. There are two leading stock markets today. We have the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq stock market. To differentiate the two, the New York Stock Exchange is an auction market that uses specialists or designated market makers, while the Nasdaq is a dealer market with many market makers in competition with one another. Since we already mentioned the two leading stock market, it also represents as an example of the two basic types of stock market. So for the first basic types of stock market, we have the physical location exchange. It is a formal organization having tangible physical locations that conduct auction markets in designated or yung mga listed securities. It includes the New York Stock Exchange, the American Stock Exchange, and several regional stock exchange. So, physical location exchange has a limited numbers of members and has an elected governing body or its board of governors. Members are said to have seat on the exchange, although everybody stands up. Yung seat na sinasabi will give the holder the right to trade on the exchange. It can be as a broker or it can be as a dealer. For the second basic types of stock market, we have the electronic dealer-based market. It is the exchange of securities is executed through the dealer. There is no centralized trading floor since it is all completed electronically. Example of a dealer market is the Nasdaq. Okay, to elaborate more about the electronic dealer-based market, we have here the over-the-counter or OTC market. It is a large collection of brokers and dealers connected electronically by telephones and computers that provides for trading in unlisted securities. So unlike kanina sa physical location exchange, yung mga tinitrade lang doon is yung mga listed securities. Dito naman sa OTC market, ang tinitrade is yung unlisted securities. So as noted earlier, exchange operates as an auction market. Buy and sell orders come in more or less simultaneously, and exchange members match these orders. But if there are only few buy and sells order come in, and matching them within a reasonable amount of time would be difficult. So para maiwasan yon ng some brokerage firm, nag-maintain sila ng inventory of such stocks and stand prepared to make market to these stocks. Kaya tinawag na over-the-counter kasi the inventory of securities are kept in a safe and then the stock, when bought and sold, were literally passed over the counter. So OTC market also refers to the shares that are not listed on the exchange. They are traded over the counter when companies cannot fulfill all requirements to be listed on exchange, such as New York Stock Exchange. So the meaning of Nasdaq. The first is NASD, which means National Association Securities Leader, and the AQ is the Automated Quotation System. So, yung Automated Quotation System, ito yung system na ginagamit nila. So, ito yung to visualize the OTC market. We have the Party 1, the Party 2, and the Party 3. So OTC is a decentralized market. It does not have a central physical location. The trade and communication between the parties involved occur through various modes such as email, telephone, and proprietary electronic trading system. These are types of market na hindi mo na kailangan pumunta sa mismong location in order for you to trade kasi you can trade on the phone or computer. For the continuation of the OTC market, today these markets are called dealer's market. So dealer market includes all facilities that are needed to conduct security transactions not conducted on the physical location stocks. So these facilities include Number 1, the relatively few dealers who holds inventories of these securities and who are said to make a market in these securities. Number 2 is the thousands of brokers who act as agents in bringing the dealers together with investors. And for the number 3, it is the computers, terminals, and electronic networks that provide a communication link between dealers and brokers. So, ayun, yung dating OTC market is tinatawag na ngayon na dealer market, and lahat ng mga security transactions na hindi nagagawa sa physical location stock is sa dealer market ginagawa.
The market common stock. Sa market common stock, kung saan ang mga tao ay nagbibilihan at nagbebenta ng mga shares ng stock ng mga company. May dalawang uri ng company. Privately owned corporation, kung saan ang mga stock ay pag-aari ng iilang tao lamang. At sa publicity, at ang publicly owned corporation, kung saan ang mga stock ay pag-aari ng maraming investor. Ang mga institutional investor tulad ng mga pension funds, mutual funds, at iba pa ay may mga malaking bahagi ng pagmamay-ari ng stock at aktibo sila sa mga pagbili at pagbibenta na magiging malaking impluwensya sa presyo ng mga stock. Types of common market: trading in the outstanding shares of establishment. Publicly owned companies. Ang secondary market, sa secondary market, nagaganap ang pagbili at pagbebenta ng mga umiiral na shares ng mga company na nasa publikong pag-aari. Halimbawa, kung ang may-ari ng 100 share ay nagbenta ng kanyang stock, ito ay tinatawag na nangyari sa secondary market. Sa ganitong mga transaction, hindi nakakatanggap ng bagong pera ang company. Number 2, additional share sold by established publicly owned companies. Ang primary market, kung saan ang isang company tulad ng Alay ay nagpa siyang magbenta ng karagdagang 1 million shares upang magkaroon ng bagong quality capital. Ito ay tinatawag na nangyari sa primary market. Yung number 3, initial public offerings or IPO ng mga privately held firms. Ang IPO market, sa pamamagitan ng IPO, ang mga pribadong company ay nagbebenta ng kanilang shares sa publiko para sa unang beses. Halimbawa, noong tag-init ng 2004, nagbenta ng shares ang Google sa publiko ng halagang $85 bawat share. Ang transaction tulad ng IPO ay nagbibigay daan sa mga pribadong company na maging publiko at magkaroon ng access sa capital mula sa stock market.
Stock markets and returns. Stock market reporting. A report of a regularly organized stock or commodity market published in a newspaper or periodical of general circulation or in an official publication or trade journal is advisable in evidence to prove the market price or value of any regularly sold or dealt in on such market. So, before nung wala pang technological advancement, stock trading are already happening. The best source of stock quotation is yung business section ng daily newspaper such as Wall Street Journal. And ang naging problema lang is yung mababasa na report or quotes ng mga investors is the yesterday's price. But now, it is possible na ma-obtain yung lahat ng quotes of stocks during the day or anytime because of wide variety of internet sources. And best example before is yung Yahoo. Ayan, so as we can see in the left side is the newspaper, which is the first ways of how they report stock quotes. And then yung nasa kaliwa naman is example of stock quotes na naganap sa Yahoo. Okay, ito, another example. And let's try to read these quotes. So, this figure shows a detailed quote for GlaxoSmithKline PLC. As the heading shows, GlaxoSmith is traded on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol GSK. The next one is the stock market returns. It is the growth rate of annual average stock market index. So, dito malalaman natin kung nag-gain ba or nag-lose certain stock companies. So, ayan, here is the figure that shows how the returns on large US stocks have varied over the past years, and the box entitled Measuring the Market. It provides some information on the major US stock market indices and their performance in the mid 1990s. So as we can see in this figure, since 1998, the market trend has been strongly up, but hindi ibig sabihin na every year siya tumataas. The overall market is nagdown din ng 9 out of those 37 years. So, siyam na beses din nag-down or uh, lost yung stock companies. And including this, yung 3 consecutive years, as we can see, which starts from 2000 up to 2002. It is normal for the stocks of individual companies to go up and down. And even in bad years, some individual companies do well. And good example of this was during the pandemic. As we all know, for us, those are bad years, but still, there are some reports that some stocks have gone up and even reached their new highest rate. Though financial managers always attempt to put their companies on the winner column, sometimes it's not always a success for them.
Next is the stock market efficiency. For us to be able to assess and identify the stock market efficiency, we have a body of theory called EMH, or the efficiency market hypothesis. And this hypothesis called that the stock market or stocks are always in equilibrium, and that is impossible for an investors to consistently beat the market. So, yung stock market daw is yung mga price na available na doon sa market or information is correct. And nag-i-imply to na yung stock is always right price based sa mga informations na nakaposted na doon sa stock market that time. So, sinasabi rin dito na imposible para sa mga investor na consistently na ma-outperform yung stock market by picking stocks that will do better than average. Ito naman kasi is yung lahat ng information is already available na sa stock prices. So, hindi siya pwede magkaroon ng mas mababang value or mas mataas na value ng stocks para magkaroon ng profit from it. So, sinasabi rito na yung market is efficient kapag yung mga prices is nagre-reflect siya and lahat is available. For us to better understand yung mga available informations in the stock market, we have 3 kinds of available information in stock market. First is yung all information in private. Ito yung mga informations na yung mga insiders lang ang nakakaalam. Next is yung all public informations. Ito naman is nag-i-include yung mga financial statement data, company announcement, company reports, past market data, and yung mga prices dito is nagre-reflect siya publicly known informations and fundamental analysis is hindi siya nag-work. So, sa price market data naman, ito yung mga prices and trading volume na naka-reflect na siya from the past, and yung technical analysis dito is hindi siya pwedeng mag-work para ma-predict yung mga prices ng mga susunod na stock. So, next, for us to be able to better understand this concept, we have the level of market efficiency. Yes, market efficiency is a concept that describes how well the prices in financial market and it reflects all the available information. Katulad na lang ng sinabi ko kanina. So, first level of the market efficiency is yung weak form efficiency. Dito sa form na to, ang sinasuggest is yung lahat ng historical prices and volume data is reflected na siya sa current stock price. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng gamitin yung technical analysis or hindi pwedeng mag-rely yung mga investors sa historical price movement para makapag-predict ng future prices. And hindi magiging effective to para mag-consistent na mabit yung market. In simple terms, yung weak efficiency form is isasuggest na yung stock price is nagmo-move siya randomly at imposible na ma-predict yung future prices and movement based on the past pattern. Since yung stock nga is tataas and bababa and mahirap natin siyang i-predict based lang doon sa mga historical prices na available. For example, if yung stock price is historically exhibited na yung mga patterns such as seasonality, yung mga information na to is in-incorporate niya na yung stock's current price. Therefore, yung mga investors na gumagamit ng technical analysis para makapag-predict ng future movements or future prices movement based dun sa mga historical patterns is hindi magiging consistently ma-outform yung market. Next naman is yung semi-strong form efficiency. Sa form na to, lahat ng public informations including yung mga historical prices data and fundamental data and even yung mga non-financial informations is already reflected na sa stock prices. So, this means that if you have an access to all publicly available informations, you would not be able to consistently beat the market. So, ibig sabihin na to, yung mga bagong informations like yung sa news, company report is mabilis siya nakaka-apekto sa stock price. So, sa theory na to, sinasuggest na yung pag-try ng mga investors na mag-predict yung stock prices gamit yung mga public informations or yung mga past trends is hindi rin makakapagbigay ng edge or hindi rin mapipredict na mas mataas yung magiging return nila kapag nag-invest sila sa stock. So, nag-i-imply din to ng yung mga illegal insiders lang yung makakatulong sa mga investors para makapag-earn ng average return. Pero, gamit yung mga information na to is hindi siya tama and against siya sa law. So, for example, if yung company nag-announce siya ng better than expected earnings, yung stock price is mag-a-adjust siya ng almost immediately para ma-reflect doon sa new information. And mahihirapan yung mga investors to profit from trading on this information after the announcement kasi biglaan nga siyang tataas or bigla siyang bababa based on sa mga new informations na ilalabas ng mga company. And last, we have the strong form efficiency. Sa strong form efficiency naman, ang ibig sabihin nito is lahat ng informations, whether public or private, is already included na sa stock market or stock prices. So, included dito yung mga insiders informations no bilang lang yung nakakaalam. And yung strong form efficiency, hindi ibig sabihin na strong siya is mabibit niya na yung market consistently. And yung idea na to is, this idea suggests that no type of information can give an investors an advantage. And even strategies like earning estimates, technical analysis, and investment advices are not useful. And according din kay Burton G. Malkiel, the mind behind this strong form efficiency, sinasabi niya na yung best approach para sa mga investors is to buy and hold investment. So, yung concept na to is makakatulong sa atin para maintindihan yung mga bagong informations na makaka-affect sa mga prices and the challenges in trying to beat the market. So, the market efficiency hypothesis has been a topic of so much debate. So, nagkaroon siya ng issues like yung mga critic argue that markets are not always perfect dahil daw doon sa mga factors katulad ng behavioral biases, market frictions, and existence of the insiders information. So, yung mga factors na to is naglilid siya ng market anomalies and inefficiencies that can be exploited by skilled investors. So, the implication of the efficiency market hypothesis suggests that it is difficult to predict which stock will perform well in advance. And para ma-outform yung market, kailangan natin ng better informations, analysis, or luck than others. So, kahit na yung market is efficient and yung stock is fairly priced, yung investors is dapat ma-diverse yung portfolio nila by investing sa mga stocks sa iba't ibang industries kasi matutulungan nito na ma-reduce yung risk and ma-maximize yung expected returns. So, is the stock market efficient? Sa AMH, hindi natin ina-assume na lahat ng investors are rational kasi it is assumed na yung mga stock prices is nagmo-move away siya from its true value due to new informations. So, yung mga investors is kumikilos sila ng mabilis para makabili ng mga undervalued stocks and binebenta nila to sa overvalued ones. So, yung mga gantong behaviors is tumutulong para makorek yung mga prices errors in the market. For us to measure the market, we have what we call the stock indexes. Ito naman is yung mga ginagamit natin para ma-assess yung performance of stock market. Pero dahil sa dami ng mga available na indexes, mahirap na ma-determine kung alin dito yung mga indexes na accurate and nagre-reflect ng market actions. So, yung ibang indexes is sinasabi na nagre-represent ng entire equity market, habang yung iba is nagtatrack ng specific industry sectors or different sizes of company katulad na lang ng small cap, mid cap, and large cap. Yung large cap, ito yung mga nag-o-offer ng stability and lower risk, while yung mid cap fund is nagpo-provide ng growth opportunities with moderate risk, while yung small cap fund, ito naman is nag-offer sila ng mga potentially high returns but with increased risk. So, yung allocation ng stock indexes, yung allocation depende siya sa factors like risk tolerance, investment goals, and yung time horizon. So, yung financial index, katulad siya ng scorecard na nagtatrack ng performance ng isang group of asset, katulad na lang ng stocks and bonds. Pero ito naman in standard way. So, it is constructed using inputs like asset prices and is used to measure the performance of the specific area in the market. So, yung mga indexes na to is tinutulungan yung mga investors and analysts para malaman or mas maintindihan yung overall health and direction of the market or specific sector. And ginagawa nitong mas madali yung pag-compare ng iba't ibang investment or matrack yung market trends over time. Under measuring the market, we have three leading stock indexes. These are the Dow Jones Industrial Average or DJIA. Inintroduce siya noong 1896 by Charles H. Dow. The DJIA initially included 10 stocks and now comprises 30 leading companies. Nagsiserve siya as benchmark for comparing individual stock with overall market for gauging the market trends over time. The DJIA is adjusted for stock splits and substitution and represent a significant portion of the total US stocks value. So, next naman is the S&P 500 Index. Ginawa siya noong 1926 and the stock S&P is kinoconsider na standard for measuring yung mga large cap US stock market performance. Included nito yung mga leading companies sa iba't ibang industries with a value weighted, meaning yung mga companies na higher market capitalization and mas greater yung impact sa index. Yung S&P 500 is widely used by money managers and pension plan sponsors as a benchmark. So next is the S&P 500 Index. Ginawa siya noong 1926 and yung S&P 500 is kinoconsider siya as standard for measuring yung mga large cap US stock market performance. Included dito yung mga leading companies sa iba't ibang industry and is value weighted, meaning yung mga companies na may higher market capitalization have a greater impact on the index. Yung S&P 500 is widely used by the managers or money managers and pension plans sponsors as a benchmark. So last is the Nasdaq Composite Index. Etong index na to is nagtatrack siya ng mga performance ng lahat ng common stocks na listed sa Nasdaq stock market. Ito naman, ini-include niya yung over 5,000 companies. So, due to the technology sectors company being listed on Nasdaq, yung mga indexes is nakikita as an indicator ng mga high-tech industries performance. Companies like Microsoft, Intel, and Cisco system have a significant influence on the index due to the high market capitalization. So, yung mga indexes na to is nagpo-provide ng valuable insights sa stock market performance. Pero, yung mga investors dapat pa rin maging aware sa mga specific focus and methodologies kapag ginagamit nila to para na rin sa analysis or benchmarking purposes. Finally, for the conclusion, financial market is the market where the buying and selling of stocks are being traded. While financial market composed of physical asset market, spot market, money market, primary market, and private market. While yung financial institution, they are acting as financial intermediaries between the borrowers and savers. And some of the example of financial institutions are the investment banking houses, commercial banks, financial service corporation, savings and loan association, mutual savings bank, credit union, pension funds, life insurance company, mutual funds, and hedge fund. While the stock market is where the investors buy and sell shares of companies, and there are two basic types of stock market, which is the physical location exchange, which include the NYSE, and the electronic dealer-based market that include the Nasdaq stock market. So that's it for our presentation about the financial market and financial institution. Again, we are the group 3 and thank you for listening.